Dentro de las trincheras.
Inside the trenches.
Inside the trenches.
Dentro de las trincheras.
Inside the trenches.
Inside the trenches.
Dentro de las trincheras.
Inside the trenches.
Inside the trenches.
Dentro de las trincheras.
Inside the trenches.
Inside the trenches.
Dentro de las trincheras.
Inside the trenches.
Well, hello, somebody. Yeah, time to move your body. Welcome back to Inside the Trenches. It is your host, Marlon Big Faith Favorite, and we're live here at Loyola University, representing Inside the Trenches here on ESPN Baton Rouge. We're also streaming live on Inside the Trenches with Marlon Favorite. Happy Thanksgiving week, y'all. What's happening, crew out here? Got CL NOLA here. We got my man Chris, Lou Chris in the building. Happy Thanksgiving to all of y'all. I hope that y'all enjoying y'all time off with y'all family, friends, loved ones, everybody.
People still at work.
Most people still at work. Like, I came here, y'all was surprised. I'm thinking, like, I saw we had a lot of available parking in the front here.
Yeah, thank
you
you.
know, usually St. Charles is packed. And I'm like, man, what's the dealio? And, you know, come to find out that y'all still got a little school going on. So, Chris, y'all get out Wednesday?
Yeah, yes we do.
Yeah, you're
Wednesday?
right. Yeah, you're right.
So what's your plans, brother, for Thanksgiving? You getting out of town or you staying in town?
I'm gonna stay here in town, cause I have family here. I'm from here, and then I'm gonna have to work the Bayou Classic events, like Battle of the Bands, maybe Friday night, and then Saturday the Bayou Classic game between Southern and Grambling. So a lot of stuff going on for me.
Poor nuts for not feeling sorry for you, Mr. Bayou Classic.
I know, right?
Yes, sir.
That's right. Bayou Classic is this
like a
week.
good
Southern
time to
takes
me.
on Grambling. That should be a big time game as always. What about you, CL? CL, you never know. CL, he'll be in like Colorado or something.
Oh yeah, or probably Miami. Who
I could
knows?
definitely use the weather, gentlemen. I could definitely use the weather. But I'll probably chill Thanksgiving, get with family and enjoy some good food. I got lucky to get one of my favorite dishes already at the tailgate. Shout out to that boy Derek and the Who That crew. Of course, that burro turkey is just it changed my life. So I'm just so grateful to be able to be in that number to get such a dish, so early in the holiday season.
Yeah, well, I'm excited this year more than ever. Gumbo.
Okay.
Like that's usually like the blessing on the front end, but it might be the blessing on the front end, back end. Because I don't really want to like load up on a whole bunch of proteins. Like I'm kind of thinking it'll be cool just to, maybe a little stuffed bell pepper here and there. The fried turkey sometimes it's just I'm gonna want to drink more water, more.
I like the
Yo,
fried
Palmer.
turkey.
Ooh, the
It
turkey.
depends
The
on
extra fried part,
Ooh,
too.
and the mac and cheese.
Yeah, the mac and
Well,
see,
you know
that's
what? Y'all know how I feel about that mac and cheese. People, please. There's going to be a million dishes that you can show on your social media and all your platforms. There'll be a million dishes. Please do not show me no damn mac and cheese. Like, you just got to, at least let it be a lobster mac, with some Gouda or something, some special cheese on it,
There's some Gouda,
yeah.
right.
Please don't show me no box mac and cheese. Please, y'all. Please.
Yes, indeed.
For me. Not this year.
Yes, indeed. Well, look, y'all, we got a great show ahead here. I want to thank y'all once again for tuning in to Inside the Trenches. And big ups to our sponsors. Get Gordon. Come on. And get it done. The Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys right here in New Orleans. If you had any car accidents, you was hurt on the job, hit them up at 504-800-8888. Get Gordon, get done. Health Nut System. Big ups to Dr. Kendra and all that she does for the show. It's the holiday time. We talking about all this good food right now. Health Nut System, what you're going to need. Visit stillbody.org to get all your vitamins and nutrients. You get a lot of that good stuff with some of the good proteins we talked about. the good home cooked food, but we kind of indulge a little bit more on the food during the holidays. So hit up stillbody.org. She got the good sea moss. You can get all the products, the Speed Up 365 and more. Visit stillbody.org. And Conquer Sports Pros, baby. That's right, Conquer Sports Pros. Visit csportspros.com. If you're a junior, high school, or senior, I know across the nation, a lot of schools, players are coming out of the playoffs and they're thinking about where they want to go for college. Right now is the time to get those things situated. Definitely visit C Sports Pros for more information. Well, speaking of visits, there's a certain coach that coaches in the SEC, one of the top coaches right now in the SEC. 10-1 is his record. And Lane Kiffin has been doing some traveling here on this bye week. I'll just be frank. This weekend at the LSU game, working with LSU Sports Radio, a lot of fans were coming up to me. A lot of folks talking about, so when we get Lane, you heard about it? It's so much a done deal. And to be honest, it sounds good in theory, but a lot of things do have to happen. Reportedly, Lane Kiffin was offered $98 million from LSU to come here. Right now, Ole Miss is offering $60. Big number difference. Florida's in the conversation as well. All of this is reportedly. Nobody from LSU came to me and said, or higher up at LSU that's a decision maker and said anybody's name. Only thing I can speak on is what my brother Verge, the AD, did say, and is he's going to hire the best coach to come in here. So, CL, I'll come to you first. This has been a hot topic this weekend. Lane Kiffin reportedly offered $98 million from LSU to come coach here. Your thoughts on the Lane Kiffin train?
I mean, honestly, I feel it's very disrespectful. I feel it's disrespectful for the current coach. I feel like it's disrespectful to Ole Miss. I feel like it's disrespectful to the state of Mississippi. I feel like it's disrespectful to the AD at Ole Miss. There's a current contract that's sitting on his desk right now. If he chooses to sign it, that is his personal business. But to be on a worldwide tour while your team is getting ready for quintessentially the biggest game of the year, I feel is disrespectful to college football, as well as disrespectful to, the idea of if a student athlete was doing the same exact thing, it would be just looked upon as a terrible thing. To let a coach do this in the midst of the playoffs or selection for the playoffs is just, I find it disrespectful, to be honest with you.
Chris, you made a good point, and I've been thinking about this a lot. I do have mixed views about it. Chris, I want to get your views as well. If y'all are just tuning in to Inside the Trenches, definitely feel free to like and subscribe to Inside the Trenches with Marlon Favorite on YouTube. And if you're tuning in, our crew that's tuning in at ESPN Baton Rouge's YouTube, definitely like and subscribe here and comment below on what we're talking about. It's been a heavy topic in sports right now with Lane Kiffin being one of the top runners for these 3 jobs, staying at Ole Miss, which makes sense. They're 10-1. He's built an empire there, and they've been successful over the years. But there are some very hefty offers out there, especially with the speed of how college coaches are doing things. Now, fellas, my very first college coach was Coach Nick Saban, and I was listening to him this weekend as he was talking about this particular thing, and he stuck up for the players. He said, this really isn't fair for the players. We can't really interview or tamper with other opportunities or take any opportunities, but coaches could get hired and fired at these time frames. So we're technically still in the football season. In the beginning of the football season, Coach James Franklin was with Penn State. They fired him. He's already the new head coach for Virginia Tech. So, Chris, I want to come to you. Your thoughts on just this entire process with college football and the hiring and firing of coaches, and do you feel that this is Coach Saban has a good point in regards to it not being fair for the players? Coaches should wait for the season to be over as well. Absolutely,
I do agree with you. I agree with Nick Saban. It is. I don't even think it's a Lane Kiffin thing, or I think it's a college football problem, like Nick Stevens said. I feel like college football should do a better job. Like, maybe wait till the season is over with, because it is unfair for the students to be like, I want to finish the season out with my coach, but my coach is already thinking about going elsewhere. And that actually happened with Tulane a couple of years ago with Willie Fritz. So I kind of saw how that felt with that one. So I feel the pain. I feel the pain for sure.
Yeah, and see, it makes me think about the NFL. You know, players have to wait till their contracts are up. It's a window for free agency. You do have firing of coaches, but it's usually like an interim coach taking over what we see in college.
Right.
You were thinking about that. What's your thoughts on it?
I mean, what can you do when you give these $1 million coaches carte blanche to travel the world to make these decisions that just so many years ago they promised not just your child, my child, and maybe a board of directors, this would be their line of action. And let's just think about it now. This is not regular college football anymore. This is the pros. So you know what's happening at the same time? Because two things can happen at the same time as well as be true. You know what's happening? The agents and the representatives of these A1 players are having conversations about them leaving or them staying to whatever respective college, because there's gonna be some turnover in these type of situations. There's gonna be some turnover, and to what end? So what happens if this young man, Lane Kiffin, decides not to come to LSU? What's the backup plan? I understand LSU is putting all their chips in to get a Lane Kiffin, but what happens if he doesn't come? What happens to the fallout if you lose a player like I'm just going to throw a player out there, and I didn't hear anything, this is not any inside information. I'm just throwing a player out there. Let's just say Mr. Green doesn't want to return back to LSU because of what's going on, because they're not paying attention to culture, because they're showing me that the coaches have carte blanche and the players are secondary in all consideration. So I'm not here to, get on my soapbox, but I'm just not a fan of it. I'm just not a fan.
I'm glad you brought up the players, because we know that LSU, one of their star players, Aiden Hall, he was on his just regular routine, high school guys attending. He's a commit already, so he's attending the game. He
from Edna Carr.
From Edna Carr.
Number 20.
For our viewers. Safety for Edna Carr. Yeah. Great player.
Big boy.
Watched a lot of games. Me and Chris and Lil Chris have watched a lot of these games, and he's a superstar. He's somebody, him along with Richard Anderson, so on and so forth. Cars loaded with talent.
They got so many boys back
talent. Well, anyway, Aiden wore hire Coach Frank Wilson shirt. Frank Wilson, and it was biggest cuff, so a lot of local broadcasters and some of the beat writers was taking pictures and putting that on their Instagrams, and it was a hot subject. To CL's point, we do have to pay attention to the culture. Now, reportedly, I don't know for sure, but it was circulating around that if Lane does take the job, he won't touch the defense. Guys like Corey Raymond, Coach Blake Baker, in addition to guys like Frank Wilson, stuff like that for the culture, as well as keeping things intact. Because to your point, you want to keep everything together with your recruits.
But you realize that's not 100% his decision.
Correct.
Because let's just say you do get Lane Kiffin and you put up the money to get Lane Kiffin. What about if you lose Frank Wilson in at the same time? Right. Is it really worth to get Lane to lose a Frank Wilson, to lose a Corey Raymond? Because he says he'll keep them, but that's just press talk. Mm-hmm. When it comes down to what actually happens, or if he just got a raise to 90 some odd million, you don't think maybe the assistants might think it might be time for them to get a raise? So there's difference of opinions in what could actually happen, but to what cost? Is it that important to get Lane Kiffin when you lose a Corey Johnson, when you lose a Williams defensive line coach, if you lose a Frank Frank Wilson. If you lose a Jerez Green in the transfer portal, if you lose a Harlem Berry in the transfer portal, LSU, think about what it is worth to get a Lane Kiffin or to not get him.
Well, it's a couple of. I know the fan base does matter. We do, in terms of, to take it back to the field, away from the business. We do need improvement. We need improvement on the offensive line. You look across the offensive line, that's one of the biggest concerns. We could probably say the same thing about the New Orleans Saints locally. You do have a running back in Harlem Berry who is the future of the SEC. I think the type of skill set he has, what he's able to do catching and running out of the backfield is monumental for where we need to take that running game. But in addition to that, fellas, I do feel like we need a power back as well to sub in and out with him just to keep it, balanced. My question to y'all, whoever the new coach is going to be, who do you keep? So you do have to think about that. That is a major – it's just one opportunity with this transfer portal. And I understand, like, the nature of how things are operating currently with college football. The transfer portal, what that is, January, it happens then. So for recruiting purposes, for early signing, that's what dates like early December matter, because that weekend is early signing day.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want any commits to flip. So that's why I'm coming to y'all. When y'all look at positions like quarterback, Michael Van Buren is a mobile quarterback. Right. LSU does have to, whatever they do in the portal, whether, of course, keeping the guys you have on the roster. You have talent already in the roster at the quarterback position. He's a running back now, but Juwan Johnson could throw the ball around the yard.
Okay.
Michael Van Buren showed us some flashes of having potential. I mean, obviously this last game against Western Kentucky, which will be joined by Mario Jerez later. We'll talk to him, get his thoughts on the Western Kentucky
He'll
game.
Definitely break it down.
And talk about the Oklahoma game coming up. But, I guess real quick, do y'all think that LSU, whoever they hire, whatever direction the offense go, I'll come to you first, Lil Chris. Do you see our next quarterback being someone like a Michael Van Buren, or do you see us going to the portal to try to find like another pro-style pocket quarterback?
I feel like what we're at in college football today, I feel like you need a dual threat quarterback. You need a quarterback with some type of dual threat ability. And where we at in college football now, because I feel like those type of quarterbacks are the quarterbacks you can mostly have success for. So I say definitely go for maybe a dual threat quarterback for sure.
Definitely. Oh, yeah, it's just, guys, just sticking around with this subject with college football, it is so many changing parts all the time. And with these changing parts, you get inconsistency from finding the right talent. So it's really just to circle back to the whole Lane Kiffin situation, he really built a team in Ole Miss. Like, Ole Miss have been hit and miss for years. Mm-hmm. They've had tons of talent. I can remember when we played against Mike Wallace and those guys back in 2008. That team was good. You had McCluster. There's another O'Para Walker product. But you had talent, but they wouldn't go into nothing. After the Egg Bowl, that was it. It wasn't really nothing major after CL.
Yeah, and this whole thing is, to say that it's gotten out of hand would be an understatement. But I'll give you, not too long ago, there's a young man named Junkins. Right now, he's the current running back for the Cleveland Browns.
Shout out to my starting fantasy running back.
And he played at Ole Miss. He actually led the SEC in rushing for Ole Miss. But then his senior year, he transfers to Ohio State.
That's right.
Now, as much power as we yield and give to Lane Kiffin, right? Mm-hmm. Because Lane was his head coach at that time. There was nothing that Lane could do to stop or convince the number one rushing back in the SEC football from going to Ohio State. So I say all that to say this. We say that it's about the kids, and every time every time there's an opportunity to show it that it's about the student athletes, we show that it's not. This is an opportunity to get the right coach for the right price, because right now, currently, you're already paying 2 buyouts. I understand that they print money in Baton Rouge, but I thought the object was to get winning football players, winning coaching, making men better men as they leave the state of Louisiana and the University of LSU. That gentleman is Frank Wilson, but for some reason, we have already overlooked him while the season is still going on.
That's crazy.
What is happening in college football? LSU, I know you're better than that, and I know you have aspirations to be champions, but you become a champion from the ground up. And here's a champion sitting next to me. He'll tell you more about it, but it starts from the ground up.
It's a lot of. It's kind of like, we'll talk about Shedeur Sanders our next segment. Y'all definitely stick around for that. I have a couple of interesting points with that, but it's really the hand that's dealt. You know, it's almost like we're taking a road trip and we've left from New Orleans to Houston. But, you know, once we get to Orange, Texas, we just get the keys to Coach Frank and tell him to drive the rest of the way. Well, he got to roll with the gas that's in the car. He has to, the trip is almost over. So the point I'm making is, it is really hard to judge right now. I mean, it was brutal in Tiger Stadium this Saturday,
Right.
because you had an offense that looked completely empty. We couldn't produce anything. For the same reasons the Saints can't really produce on offense, LSU is dealing with that as well. So that's going to, deal with having to bring in as much talent as possible throughout this transfer portal. You do have to, because it is a tricky deal, because when you hire someone, they bring their people in. Had Coach Kelly just followed the formula, he might have had a better shot.
Right.
You let go of some key people. Defensively, like we talked about this, and I don't mean to keep going back to, shouts out to BK, free BK. For our people that's just checking it out, Coach Kelly's son, Kenzel Kelly, had ran out for senior day, and he had raised his shirt. He had BK on it. Right. So he looks at the cameras like, yeah, y'all know what it is. Free BK, free the guy, free my boy BK. And I'm like,
yeah, Burger King.
But just to, really talk about how important culture is in Baton Rouge. When Coach Saban came to LSU, he came from Michigan State. He wasn't a big name coach coming in.
Not at all.
Now, he came through with what I think helped shape what LSU is today, but he wasn't a big name hire. When we brought Coach Miles in, he wasn't a big name hire. The guy came from Stillwater. He was coaching at Oklahoma State.
Right.
He won a national championship. Then we hire Coach Ed Ogeron. For all intents and purposes, he didn't even have a head coaching job. He just he knew what to do. This guy, once we talked about all the time, is the epitome of what you're looking for in a coach. And now we have Coach Frank Wilson in this position where all he can do is finish.
That's all he can do.
Out of all the reports out there, CL's making a good point. We don't hear not one person say nothing about Coach Frank.
Not one.
Not one. So, of course, on this show, we're going to talk about it because we know what it is. We know who pulling the strings behind the scenes in that regard. And I'm talking about recruiting. When we lost Coach Ed Ogeron, we had to get a Frank Wilson. To me, that was one of Coach Kelly's smartest hires.
Right.
Bringing Coach Frank in as assistant head coach. At the time, Coach Frank was a head coach at McNeese State. So, I thought that, y'all, that was a smart move. We got about a minute left here, y'all, here on Inside the Trenches. Remember, y'all chime in. We're going to talk next segment, talk a little bit about Shedeur Sanders. He had his first win in the NFL. With his first start. And we'll talk about what that means. And who are these MVP candidates in the NFL? You might have to help me out with that, little Chris.
All right.
Please.
Once again, big shout out to the Get Gordon crew. Get Gordon, get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, offices all over the state, right here in New Orleans as well. You can hit up, y'all know what it is, 504, baby. 800-8888. Get Gordon, get done. When we come back, we take a ride through the NFL, baby. Who's performing high? We're past the midpoint of the season. Who's that guy right now? And then also, we got a guy that, that went through the wilderness and made his way onto the promised land in game one. It first started, at first win. We'll talk about Shedeur Sanders when we come back as well. It's Inside the Trenches, baby. Right here live at Loyola on ESPN Baton Rouge's YouTube. Hello.
Dentro de las trincheras.
Here is where your story continues. Stretch the limits of your imagination. Create the world as you see it. One letter, one word, one pixel at a time. Move to the rhythm of your own story. Make something more. For him and her and them, for the world. Do what you love. Tell stories like never before in state-of-the-art recording, news, and editing studios. Created just for you. Learn skills that will never expire. Document moments, seconds, frames per second. Turn them into masterpieces. Creativity is more than a lifestyle. Make it a career. Tune into the sounds around you. Those notes, you were always meant to sing them. Creative boundaries, you were always meant to break them. Become the creative professional you are destined to be at the Anchor Institution for the Creative Economy. This is a stage, a world stage. New Orleans, culture rich. Loyola, hands-on access. Make the next move. Perform and work immediately. We do things differently. Use your creativity to impact society. Expand your mind. Be with and for others. Continue your story in the College of Music and Media at Loyola University, New Orleans.
Inside the trenches.
Inside the Trenches.
Conquer Sports Professionals.
Hello, somebody. My name is Marlon Big Favorite. If you're serious about playing college football on the next level and having it paid for, visit us at csportspros.com. Again, that's csportspros.com, or you can click the link below.
Conquer Sports Professionals.
Inside the Trenches.
Dentro de las trincheras.
Inside the trenches.
Inside the trenches.
Dentro de las trincheras.
Well, hello, somebody. It's time to move your body. Welcome back to Inside the Trenches. It's your host, Marlon, Big Faith Favorite. Joining me here is Lil Chris, and we got my homie CL NOLA. And we want to thank y'all for each and every week tuning in right here to Inside the Trenches to talk a little sports and entertainment for us. Remember, stick around hour 2. We'll be joined by Mario Jerez, sports analyst here locally. He covers the Pels. He covers Tulane football, Saints, all things Louisiana. Great catching up with Mario always. We got the homie CL NOLA, a.k.a. the general manager. If you want to know who the next hire is, give him a call. Can't say his phone if you got a DM us for get some more information. Joining us in here as well. Fellas, I wanted to take a little stop and look at the NFL right now. Who are the top guys? Lots of surprises. I think most fantasy football players out there, had they knew then what they knew now about some of these guys, they would have probably went on and drafted them. Right now, if you look at emerging candidates, you got Drake May, Matthew Stafford, Jamari Gibbs, and Nick Boo Smith. Nick Jigba. I say Nick Jigba. Nick Jigba Smith. Sorry, Nick Jigba. Cool last name though, big dog. He's on, and I drafted you, so I should know better. His first name's Jackson.
Jackson Smith.
Yep, that's a fire name. I thought Najigba come before.
Jackson Smith.
Yeah, it's Jackson Smith Najigba.
Najigba, Jackson Smith Najigba. Yeah, that's pretty gangster. Well, his name's coming up now. Those guys typically don't get it. It usually will go to the quarterback in the category.
Unfortunately.
And I got to give a big shout out to class of 2009 draft class. I was undrafted, but I was one of the fortunate guys to go to the NFL Combine, and one of my Combine classmates was none other than Matthew Stafford.
Yep.
And this was years ago now. I'm talking about a long time ago, like 2019 and came by. That made 10 years.
Okay.
Right? So the next thing is 2029, and that'll be
Almost 20 years.
So you're looking at a dude who has a lot of experience and have been through a lot. First round draft pick to the Detroit Lions, first pick overall, showed a lot of toughness, consistently stayed at the top of his game in regards to being one of the top tier quarterbacks, danced a little bit with tier 2, but most of the time spent most of his time in tier 1 quarterbacks around the league. They made the switch out, Jared Goff, and I think that revived his career as well, making his way to Detroit. And Matthew Stafford is man on fire. You know, to be honest with you, he's one of my favorites. CL, I'll come to you first. I may have not mentioned the name. I may have mentioned the name. When you think of MVP candidates right now, the race currently in the season, what names come to mind?
Well, the first name that pops up in my mind is Jonathan Taylor.
I knew he was going to say that.
Ooh, I like.
I knew he was going to say that name.
He leads the league in rushing, and just think, not to make light of Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is his starting quarterback. And there's definitely some weapons in Indianapolis. The guy, obviously, I wanted at tight end, Tyler Warren. You know, Pittman is there.
Yeah.
You know, they have a serious offensive line, maybe a top 5 offensive line in this
Quentin
league.
Nelson.
Yeah.
But Jonathan Taylor is the straw that stirs the drink. It starts off with him. Obviously, you know, I sit on here and I talk about how important the running game is, and it couldn't be any more important than it is in Indianapolis. And that's why they're one of the top teams in the AFC, because at the end of the day, they can literally hand it off to this gentleman and he'll bring it home for them. So Jonathan Taylor, of course.
Jonathan Taylor, while mentioning Gibbs, he's a name that definitely should be mentioned as well. I felt like I was this close from drafting him in fantasy. I felt like that would have been a good pick for me. Look, Chris, we will come to you next, my brother. When you start thinking about candidates right now in the NFL for MVP, who are some names come to mind, or do you have a guy in particular like CL?
I do agree that Jonathan Taylor is the engine of that, not even just that Colts offense, that Colts team in general, because it gives the defense a lot of rest as he's just running through defenders down the field, putting more time for the offense to be on the field. So if I have to, not only he should be MVP, he should be Offensive Player of the Year, because he's the most valuable player on the Colts and he's the best offensive player this year. But if you ask me who I think is going to win it, it's probably going to be Matthew Stafford, because he's the quarterback. He's putting up the best quarterback stats this year. 30 touchdowns, 2 interceptions in 11 games. Shout out to him. He's on my fantasy. He's my fantasy starting quarterback this year. So
you drafted smart, man. Look at you, brother. That was smart.
Oh, yeah. So shout out to Matthew Stafford. So he probably is going to win MVP.
Number 1 team in the NFC, which makes a lot of sense for a lot of people. But as is the Colts being a top-tier team in the AFC. So, you know, unfortunately, they've made the MVP race more about a quarterback. It's a quarterback award, because there's guys like, you know, Myles Garrett that leads the league in sacks. And I know defense doesn't win championships anymore, but a guy that can get 4 sacks in a game and literally wreck a game, you know, has to be mentioned when it comes to, you know, obviously defense and what this league is predicated on.
Yeah. When you look at defensive players that ball out, you typically have a safety that's taking advantage of that, getting 9 interceptions, or corners taking advantage of that. So it looks more like a defensive award. Even when you talk fantasy football, it's this thing where they don't pick individuals on defense. It's just you pick the team's defense. So I pay attention to that as well, and I have to agree with you, Chris. I think that that Matthew Stafford he's the front runner for it right now. I'll just say that. We still have some football still here left to play, but 2 interceptions, and we're in the end of November.
Yes.
You know, you look at the number of touchdowns that was scored, so on and so forth. You know, you got to give credit where credit is due. If y'all are just tuning in to Inside the Trenches, we're talking about NFL MVP candidates right now. Feel free to chime in. You could go right now in the live chat, make your comments. Who you think is somebody we didn't mention? Some of y'all locally might feel like it's Tyler Shuck or Alvin Kamara or Chris Olave. You know, everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
Maybe Saints MVP.
Yeah, well, we know who the MVP for the last game was.
Oh.
We'll talk about it next.
Okay, all right. So I'm with you, Chris. You got to think, hey, it's a situation where Gibbs, Taylor, in terms of running backs, they're having one heck of a season. When you start talking about quarterbacks, I mean, Drake May is right there. I think in 12 games now, he's had 6 interceptions. But he's been careful with the ball as well. I want to say he's, thrown 21 touchdowns. And this is a guy that, when we talked about those 3 quarterbacks, Jaden Daniels, we talked about Drake May, we talked about Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams I thought this year in year 2, he stepped his game up. His performing much better. Yeah, he improved.
And he
his
could
coaching
actually
did
be
too.
a dark horse. He could actually be a dark horse because we would be fools not to mention what the Chicago Bears are doing. The Chicago Bears are actually leading their division. And they're running the football. They're helping Caleb. It's not all on Caleb. He's not the
Ben
most,
Johnson.
Yeah, Ben Johnson. He's not the most sacked quarterback anymore in this league, and he's being able to deliver the ball downfield, fingernail polish or not.
He said fingernail polish or not. He's doing it. I mean, right at 36 touchdowns. Just
that's nothing to sneeze at.
hold on. Let me double check that. Make sure I'm looking at the right. Caleb Williams. He already his coaching has. There we go. 13 touchdowns. 13 touchdowns. 4 interceptions. 2,100. I think that was a batch of a couple of quarterbacks I was just reading. And it's also Monday brand too. It's Inside the Trenches, baby. We're definitely live in effect here. Y'all be sure to stick around. We got a couple more things we're going to talk about in this segment, but we'll be joined here in the second hour by Mario Jerez. Mario's going to talk a little Pels with us, switch it up a little bit. I want to get his opinion on LSU currently, saying see what's going on in that regard.
Can we ask the chat who they think should be the next head coach for LSU?
Sure.
And the Pelicans.
That's it. Wow. There we go. Hey, I like
we'll
it all.
do one at a time.
Okay. So
or maybe both of them.
Feel free, because we got some basketball heads out there too.
They're waiting for that basketball.
Okay, so CL just said it. Y'all hit us up here in the chat right now. Who do y'all feel should be the next head coach for LSU? There's a lot of names that's being circulated around. We've heard Coach John Summerall. We've heard Frank Wilson. We've heard Lane Kiffin. Who y'all think should be the next NBA coach for the Pelicans in the NBA? Right now, they have an interim coach that's doing an exceptional job. Trying to do an exceptional job to rally the team up. Him and Frank kind of in the same boat.
And since we're really doing this in real life, let's just go ahead and say, okay, Coach Summerall is going to probably leave Tulane as well. What about if they offer the Auburn job to Coach Summerall?
Or Ole Miss. The
Ole Miss job to Coach Summerall.
He was at Ole Miss for a little hot second, too. So,
and
and
whoever they decide to bring in LSU, and it's not Frank Wilson, I hope Frank Wilson take the Tulane job.
Mm-hmm.
I like what you're saying.
So
yeah, I mean, if it means that much to them to get Lane and lose Frank, then I'll respect it. But I need Frank to take a lateral, even though obviously it's not lateral because LSU is the pinnacle. But I would like to see Frank Wilson as a head coach somewhere.
I mean, if I'm keeping it at a buck, right now Tulane is in the hunt to get in the college football playoff.
Yes, sir.
We're nowhere near the hunt. I mean, I understand flagship school and, we do respectively. We got some championships, but you do got to give Coach Summerall and before him, Coach Willie Fritz, because here in the those are the guys that built the team where it is right now, and it definitely deserves some recognition. This from Tiger to a wave. You know what I'm saying? All right, y'all, congratulations, y'all. Give me a nice little clap right there. Shedeur Sanders, wonderful job, young man.
Oh, for sure.
Shedeur Sanders made history. I know I teased that earlier. So what he did, since the Cleveland Browns has been in Cleveland, no first-year quarterback has won their first starting game. He is the first to do it. Through the storm, he's definitely made it. Now, it's not a whole bunch to pop bottles off of. It's a struggling Oakland team.
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas Raiders team. His true test is going to be against the 49ers next week. And then, we could kind of start looking at this performance by him. But he really managed the game. Okay, he made 3 big plays. He really only had 1 mistake in that interception. And right now, and obviously the staff, he is the better option for them. A couple of factors with him playing and what happened it's not too much to judge. This isn't a guy who had an opportunity to work with that first unit the whole year.
Right.
This is just his first start, so it's still a lot to factor in. CL, I know you was watching. You don't care if Alvin Gentry only gave me 7, 8 fantasy points. You checked out Shedeur Sanders yesterday, bro. Your thoughts on his performance?
I believe the young man was poised. I believe he, so as I, were ready and waiting for the moment. Because you can hold him back, you can hold him down in the draft. You could drop him down to the 5th. It didn't take away his arm strength. It didn't take away his accuracy. You can make him the 4th-string quarterback and get him no reps with the 1. It didn't take away from his strength, his accuracy, and his confidence. He gets 1 week of practice, and he wins the first game that no Cleveland Brown starting quarterback has ever done. That has to be mentioned. I know Fave mentioned it. I'm mentioning it. It has to be mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
This young man, imagine if he would have had a whole offseason.
He said that.
Imagine if he would have had an whole offseason to prepare. This young man has been ready for the moment since he came out the womb. And now we're all seeing it. He's very infectious. He's very accurate with the football. And the same things that these haters hate him for is the same thing they love Baker Mayfield for. The problem is Baker's hurt right now, and you were forced to watch Shedeur last night. Well, yesterday.
Oh, you meant to say Dylan?
No, Baker Mayfield.
Oh,
Baker
when they
Mayfield.
drafted
The
him
same.
years ago.
So what I was saying was the haters. The reason why they have a problem with Shedeur Sanders is he has the confidence and the bravado as the same as Baker Mayfield's. But they say it is different when Baker does it compared to when Shedeur does it. But that's okay. Don't worry about it. Shedeur won yesterday and Baker lost.
And it says a lot about a player when your teammates give you praise, especially veterans like Myles Garrett.
Right.
He's always rooted for Shedeur, really since training camp. The reason that says a lot is because the first look at all the quarterbacks, the whole offensive unit, heck, when you're not in the whole team, you seeing who making the right throws, you seeing who under pressure, or when you're pressuring, who's giving you a time, and eventually it happened. And we kind of sensed this. We knew what the storyline was going to be, you know. Eventually, what happened, Joe Flacco gets traded over to the Bengals, and because they did him because of
Deshaun never plays.
Right, exactly. And eventually a guy that they tried to bury deep on the depth chart is now risen. And hey, they still got a lot to go on. Like I said, you look at him by numbers yesterday. He was 11 for 20, 200 yards. The one interception we talked about, he got sacked once, you know, and it wasn't horrible stats.
Which is already better than what he did last game, because obviously he held the ball too long on the last game. He got rid of it this game.
And he was able, go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Quarterback rating 87.9. Look up how many starting quarterbacks had a higher rating than 87.9 on their first start in the NFL.
And I was going to mention the amount of rookies he played with. You had Dylan Stanford. You had Fannin. Junkins. Yeah.
Junkins is a rookie.
That's what I'm saying. You had – so everybody he hit – and I'm missing somebody else. Somebody had a long –
Oh, 15. Oh.
Hold on. I'm right there.
Samson. Dylan Sampson.
Yeah, from Tennessee.
Yep, Sampson had the long run. That was a big, long touchdown.
I know you know Isaiah Bond, ain't he there?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a 58, so he hit all rookies.
Yeah.
Like, it was legit. All rookies went out there and did most of the performing. I mean, you had Jared Judy. He had one. He kind of had a little bonehead play, too, in that game.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I thought it was a pretty decent performance, and so much to grow on for him. But, yeah, y'all, that's, you know, around the league, I wanted to touch base on that. We wanted to definitely take this time to thank, once again, Health Nut System celebrating 3 years in the business, 3 years of health and wellness, helping the community out. Big ups to Dr. Kendra and her family and all that they do for our show here on Inside the Trenches. Y'all don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll be joined by Mario Jerez. Mario going to talk a little Saints with us, talk a little Pels. You know, we may ask him a little Tulane. We'll see what we have time for. So y'all stick around, baby. It's Inside the Trenches. Hello, somebody.
Inside the trenches.
Conquer Sports Professionals.
Hello, somebody. My name is Marlon Big Faith Favorite. If you are serious about playing college football on the next level and having it paid for, visit us at csportspros.com. Again, that's csportspros.com, or you can click the link below.
Conquer Sports Professionals.
Inside the trenches.
Dentro de las trincheras.
Inside the trenches.
Dentro de las trincheras.
Inside the trenches.
Inside the trenches.
Dentro de las trincheras.
inside the trenches.
Monday, fun day, come on. Yeah, it's Inside the Trenches. I was in the game on 14 inches. Man, what am I doing? Am I messing up my Monday rhymes? It's Inside the Trenches. Your host, Marlon, Big Favorite. Thank y'all so much for tuning in with us. We're live here at the Loyola Studios. Big ups to our production team and they're doing a wonderful job as normal each week, holding it down for us, for sure. I want to take this time right now. This is for all the football players out there, high school football players, you're a junior or you're a senior, especially if you are a senior. If you're a senior right now, you're still in the football season, waiting for the football season to finish up because you're in the playoffs. You may have some teams that are interested in you, but you hadn't heard anything. You're ready to make a decision. Hit the folks up at Conquer Sports Pros. Visit csportspros.com, csportspros.com for more information. They can help you with either financial aid or getting a scholarship and helping y'all navigate through this recruiting process. Juniors and seniors. Juniors, you might as well start now. The earlier the better. But don't let your opportunities to float away. If you want to continue playing ball, get with the folks at Conquer Sports Pros. Visit csportspros.com for more information. Well, we're joined by a lot of guests. We have guests that are reoccurring from time to time. And one guy that always comes on the show is a good buddy of mine by the name of Mario Jerez. Y'all be sure to follow Mario M. Jerez, I want to say 3, on Instagram. Mario, you got to help me out with that one on Monday Brain. What folks can follow you at?
At Mario_E_Jerez on Twitter. M_Jerez3 on Instagram, so you got that one right. But,
yep, there we go.
Yeah,
there we go. Monday Brain working a little bit. Hello, somebody. So, Mario, we're just going to jump you right in the conversation that we've been having right here on our chat. At ESPN Baton Rouge and on Inside the Trenches' YouTube. But it's been a heavy, heavy conversation, a loaded conversation about who's going to be the next head coach for LSU. CL feel like it's very disrespectful to Frank Wilson. He's there right now, and he's doing a heck of a job just holding the troops down in the meantime. There's names like John Summerall that popped up, but one name that popped up reportedly has been Lane Kiffin, and now the offer reportedly has been $98 million. I'm going to put the 80 hat on your head real quick. Tell us what you think about LSU and this hiring.
Man, it's a wild time, and this always happens. You know, we've seen this movie before, right? With LSU letting go of coaches and bringing guys in. I don't love it. It's something about kind of simping for Ole Miss's coach, as hard as LSU's fans and media is right now. It makes me a little bit uncomfortable. But I think Lane would be a good fit there. And you've come on my show many times. Yeah. You know, I've kind of beat that drum. Not long ago, I said if I had to take my pick, who do I want to be my college football head coach, Brian Kelly or Lane Kiffin? I would take Lane Kiffin. A lot of people kind of made fun of me for that, and here LSU is in the situation that they're in. So if they are able to land Lane, I don't think it's the end-all, be-all. I still think LSU football has a lot of kind of corrections they need to make just as a program. Lane Kiffin or no coach is going to come in and just kind of be their savior. I think LSU as a football program just kind of needs to take a look in the mirror. So that's independent of the Lane Kiffin conversation. Right. But if you want my personal opinion, I think he's going to stay. You know, there's clearly a lot of smoke there. LSU is clearly interested. There might be some mutual interest, and LSU seems to be going after him pretty hard. But I would not be surprised if this was all for show. And if this all ended with Lane Kiffin posting, you know, a Wolf of Wall Street video with the Photoshop with his face, right, saying, I'm not effing leaving. I'm not going anywhere. Because, you know, not long ago he wanted LSU, and LSU did not want him, kind of turned their nose up at him. So is LSU really that much better of a job than Ole Miss to where he'll leave Ole Miss in the midst of a playoff race? He'll join, exactly. He'll join LSU with all the instability that's been happening confident at LSU. You know, LSU does not have the brand power that it had when they let go of Coach O. You know, that was 2 bad seasons, but they were coming off a title, you know, not long before that. They had a lot of momentum with NIL and things like that. But if you look at LSU in the present day, just football-wise, they've been passed up by programs like Texas A&M, Ole Miss, thanks to Lane Kiffin, even Vanderbilt. Shout out to Clark Lee. He's done a really good job. I don't see anybody trying to poach him the way they are Lane Kiffin. So I think LSU just kind of needs a reality check. And to answer your question, if they got Lane Kiffin, I think that would be a good hire. I think he would do well at LSU, but it's not a end-all, be-all. And if they're not able to get Lane Kiffin, things are going to get really interesting.
Yeah, it would. Man, I just thought about it. It's all right. Think about what this would do for Coach Kiffin for recruiting. Like all this hype behind me. You see, this team wanted to offer me X, Y, and Z. My name was in the hat for that, but I stayed here at Ole Miss, and here's why. And he could be potentially CL using this as a recruiting tool.
Yeah, and I look at it both ways. What happens when the transfer portal opens up and these guys start jumping ship from both ends? You know, they've given him an ultimatum of when he's going to make his decision, but ultimately he's going to make that decision when he wants to. And just like when a top quarterback or a top player in the NFL signs a major deal, everybody's looking. Everybody's waiting for that top guy to make that deal, and then they move after that. So what will be the downfall or the trickle effect? Better phrase. What will be a trickle effect of either him leaving or staying? Because we don't know what the transfer portal has to offer for these gentlemen that's going to come right behind him.
Yeah, and one thing, we mentioned this earlier, LSU has always been about culture.
Right.
When Coach Saban first came here, he wasn't a big-name coach. When Coach Miles came here, he wasn't a big-name coach. We knew Coach Ed Ogeron to be one heck of a recruiter, and he came in here, and he was already on the staff, right? And then, obviously, there was Coach, and I'm going to always talk about it, you had Coach Brad, who was the head coach for a game, and then right at that point, we went all big names.
Yeah.
Right, Mario? We went, let's go Brian Kelly. Now, from what I remember, Mario, you felt like Coach Kelly was a great hire for LSU?
Oh, no. I was on the opposite end of the spectrum, man. And then, look, at first he kind of proved me wrong, right? Like, I was kind of on the boat that, he's a bad fit and all this stuff. But just football-wise, man, after that first season, he just did not do a good job. And Brian Kelly's the kind of mold that's like a CEO-type head coach, right?
Right.
He's very dependent on hiring good coordinators. And to his credit, he did that most of the time at Notre Dame. But winning in Notre Dame is not equivalent to winning in the SEC and at LSU. And from the jump, he did a really bad job with coordinator hires. I mean, this man fielded one of the worst special teams units in LSU history, then one of the worst defenses in LSU history, and then statistically this season, running the football, one of the worst offenses in LSU history. And the instability towards the end is why you let Coach O go before him, right? And after one good year, that's all the Brian Kelly tenure was, instability, not just hiring bad coordinators, but I think the departure of Mike Denbrock wasn't talked about enough. Like we gave Brian Kelly so much props for developing Jaden Daniels and, you know, having a Heisman-winning quarterback, but I think a lot of that was Jaden's talent, number one, and a really good play caller that's still doing really good things in Notre Dame to this day. So just football-wise, after last season, I thought it was kind of obvious, and I kind of fought battles on Twitter with some people in LSU media. Like, they lost to Texas A&M, really bad loss. They kind of owned Brian Kelly in the BK era at LSU. And then the loss to Florida was just absolutely unexcusable. And the LSU was an 8-4 team that was losing a lot of good players to the NFL. In my head, I'm like, what's going to get better? And a lot of people I kind of felt like they were in denial about Brian Kelly's ability to be this great tactical head coach, which aside from the first season, he never really was at LSU. So I think, like y'all were just talking about a minute ago, LSU needs to kind of just get back to the basics, you know? Yeah. They can't try to hire the best resume. They can't try to have like a parade for a hire that all the fans are going to be happy about. Right. They need to go to somebody like a Frank Wilson. And like y'all said, unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen, but somebody who has those qualities. And number one, we'll keep Frank Wilson. I think he
Right.
needs to stay as the running backs coach
Right.
and as the lead recruiter on the staff. But somebody who's going to own Louisiana, somebody who is going to, establish that culture. Like Braden Fajoko, others. I saw a lot of former players talk about LSU just not really having that edge to it as a football team, especially on the trenches, pun intended.
Yeah, you're right.
Offensively and defensively. So somebody who's going to come in and establish that, and that might not be, someone with the best resume, the flashiest name, but LSU just football-wise needs to get back to the basics, and that's what kind of did Brian Kelly in.
Yeah. I mean, this is what I say, y'all. The coach, whoever the next coach is, his job shouldn't be, let me make LSU work my way. From the great Coach Saban is going down right now. Right now, he's the greatest coach of all time.
Sure.
6 national championships at Alabama, 1 at LSU. It doesn't get no better than that, right? You got Coach Bear, and, you had some coaches that made some runs, but Coach Saban's legacy is still unmatched. But he was smart enough to say, let me get these guys in state. I thought Coach Kelly bringing in Bill Polian and we getting guys from Hawaii and Utah. And no, we need to go after, even if it's a 2 or 3 star player, we need to go after that guy here locally in the States. We don't need to go at, like, I was thinking about that the other day, CL. Me and BT was talking before we went on air. And truth be told, most of the star players on our team, I'm going to say, the fabric of the team were guys with 2 to 3 stars.
Yeah.
I mean, look at recent time. Justin Jefferson had what? 1 star?
Yeah, 2 stars. Yeah.
2 stars? Sorry, Jets, 2 stars, right? But that's irrelevant to him right now because he got more than a couple stars on that. Hello, somebody on them checks he getting from the NFL, highest paid.
In his teeth.
Yeah, hello, right. So at the end of the day, that's a kid who was willing to go hard for his state, fellas.
Right.
And I think, CL, that's really what we need to get to.
It's so important, because unfortunately, I end up going back and forth with, people in certain chat boxes. And, culture is so important. And that's why you keep hearing it. Because culture is so important, especially in Louisiana. It speaks volumes to how the game is played on the field and how the young men, as well as the coaches, handle themselves off the field. Culture in Louisiana takes precedence over probably almost every other state, maybe give or take Texas, is in importance. And honestly, that's why Mario is probably one of my favorite guests to come here. Because he really breaks it down and he lets you know. He says it because sometimes I'm so passionate I can't get it out. But he said it, and I'm going to repeat what he said. LSU needs to look in the mirror. Lane Kiffin is not going to, or any coach for that matter, any big hire coach will not be the be-all, turn-around all person immediately. It starts with the offensive line. It starts with maybe getting a strength and conditioning coach back at LSU. Because when we think of LSU, we think of a physical football team. We think about them running the football to end games. We just think about the physicality between the offense and defensive line. And that's the culture. LSU needs to get back to it. Mario said it beautifully. Thank you for coming, brother.
I appreciate that, man, and I appreciate the kind words. And, yeah, I mean, just a culture of caring about your players. I think that kind of got lost in the sauce. And Tommy Moffitt, as intense as he was, he kind of laid the foundation for that. And Brian Kelly, when all those articles came out at the time, it's like, oh, they're going after him. He's an easy target. This is a hit piece, but not knowing like guys' names and stuff like that. Yeah. Not having an open door policy, like having to have your own players make an appointment to see you, like stuff like that. You don't think matters, but it does. And LSU, since that 2019 team and since that kind of fell apart, it just seems really like corporate. and that's on the field and off the field. Like
point.
fans not filling up the stadium, traffic not being as heavy as it's been. I mean, you're there. You've done the pregame every single year. Like you can kind of compare the last couple of years, even when LSU's been good, to what it was when you were playing and in years after that. So LSU just as a program, like I said, needs to look at itself in the mirror.
Our years there, I mean, I don't think I have. Do I have double-digit loss at LSU?
Probably not.
No, I think I have 9 loss at LSU.
Yeah.
So the time frame that we were there, it was kind of unmatched. Now, we felt that in 2019, arguably the greatest team in LSU's history, not just LSU, college football history.
For sure.
History. And you look at that when Coach Kelly came in, it's like, get this crawfish and beer out of the way. Let's pull out graphics. Let's pull out, let's wear ties. And he tried to fit he tried to switch the accent up. And it was
epic fail.
Yeah, it just didn't work right. But I do give credit what credit is due for him. He did hire Coach Frank Wilson, and I think that kind of that helped us sew up a lot of these players that we have. Mario, I want to switch gears with you here. We're going to keep you around for another segment, but I wanted to talk about the Pelicans. You look at the Saints, 2-9. Pelicans is 2-15. Hopefully we can, if y'all are just tuning in now, y'all might watch this a day or two from now. We playing the Rockets right now. No, the Bulls. The Bulls right now, but, this is a team that has young talent on it, Mario. I think of guys like Jeremiah Fears, and I think about
Patrick Queen.
Derek Queen.
Derek Queen.
Monday.
Patrick, not Monday.
Right. It's Monday for all of us. When you look at this roster and you say, hey, we do have to make a coaching hire here with the Pelicans, we do have a new GM. a new team president or whatever you want to call Coach Dumars. GM, your thoughts on the Pels?
I mean, I said last time I came on the show, I thought Griffin was doing a fine job building the team. The Pelicans had a pretty decent core, but they've now traded away guys like Najee Marshall and Larry Nance and Dyson Daniels.
Core
and
guys.
Guys that, really were the core of the team, and it's just completely blown up in their face. I mean, the DeJounte Murray trade was, I think, a lot of just bad luck because even if he was playing, it still might not be a good trade. But that was a guy that was healthy his entire career. But, of course, he comes to the Pelicans and immediately lands on his wrist. He gets back from that. He tears his Achilles. It's like you can't write this kind of crap, man. But
No.
that's just life for the Pelicans. And it's not just one problem. They're similar to the Saints. They're going through a full-scale rebuild right now. And that's with Zion Williamson on the roster, right? At this point, you can't really count on him playing. If he does, it's gravy. But you kind of had to construct your roster independent of Zion. And to your point, it's not totally hopeless because Queen looks good. Fears looks pretty nice. I didn't like the move to get Jordan Poole. I feel like that's just kind of crowding the backcourt. Not that he's a terrible player, but they have just a lot of stuff to figure out. And it's unfortunate because they're having a terrible season and they're not going to have their first-round pick. So the losses don't really help you. You got to try to develop the young guys. You got to see, similar to the Saints before the trade deadline gets here, what guys are expendable, what guys are worth getting rid of to get back some assets. And we could talk about a lot and break down a lot, but it's a house of sadness in there right now with the Pelicans right now. Man. It's bad.
That that is a hell of a way to describe it, and like I said, that's why I'm grateful for Mario to come on because a house of sadness is very much so accurate. I've sat on this station, I've sat in this chair, and I've literally beaten my chest, Mario, and said the two things that's gonna get the Pelicans back on track is number one, getting rid of Willie Green. And number two, trading Zion. How do you feel about trading Zion Williamson?
So from what I've heard, man, they've tried really hard, but he has zero trade value and just use common sense. Like I'm kind of just tired of covering Zion as a player, to be honest with you. I feel like he's been on the Pelicans for like 40 years, but just use common sense. Like this is a player who's available like 30% of the time. So the other 70% of the time, not only are you going to not have your best player, but everybody else is going to have to work like twice as hard.
Right.
As a coach, you're going to have to work twice as hard to devise a game plan. And that's basketball wise. And then you get to all the off court stuff, you know, the baby mama drama, like the not showing up to practice, the being late for a team flight. Like, I'm sorry, this is all well documented. This is not gossip. Like, this is stuff that has been reported, right? So if you are a team, why would you give up a first round pick or a starting caliber player? And the Pelicans just, I feel like, and from what I've heard, they've tried, but it just hasn't materialized. And they're kind of, you know, in that extent stuck with him. And hopefully he gets healthy and he plays, because when he plays, he's amazing. Although the effort wasn't there on that closeout 3-point shot the other day, that game. I don't know if y'all saw that clip that's gone kind of viral. So even when he's played, it's not been great. But that's the situation, man. In a perfect world, you would trade him, but he just has very little to no trade value right now.
When you look at this team and the search for coaching, what coach you think could come shape up this current roster?
Man, it's kind of similar to LSU, the situation we were just having. I think the Pelicans might just kind of like back into a coach, because this is not going to be looked at as a very desirable job. It's just not. Like, fair or unfair, given the reputation that the Pelicans have with the ownership and being owned with the Saints and stuff like that. But they should do their due diligence. They shouldn't do like they did with Dumars and just hire whoever's cool with the organization. Like, there's a lot of good coaches available right now. Budenholzer got fired recently. I would like throw the Brinks truck at Mike Malone. Like, blank check. Whatever Mike Malone wants to come to New Orleans and coach, I would get to him. Like, see, you know, who would even be interested. And then from there, just, you know, go to the young assistants, up-and-coming guys, kind of like Willie Green was. But it's not like LSU. You're not going to get, like, the hottest candidates out there. You should try. You should, like, call Mike Malone and those guys. But, yeah, they're kind of just going to get what they get, I think.
Yeah, and you kind of jumped into it because, you know, that was going to be my next question. And obviously Mike Malone is also a number one candidate for me as well. I've heard your feelings about Poole. There is a log jam at guard. What actually happens when Murray does come back? Do we shun fears, and now we're stunning his growth? You know, the reason why Queen is getting so much run is because the reality of Queen's drafting was to replace Zion when he wasn't there.
Exactly.
Because what happens is these fast few years, we would have Zion missing, and then we would have a number 2 forward be played as a starter. And so we're already in the negative of 20 points. Now we have a backup playing his position. So the whole time we've addressed his missing in action with a backup player. We finally addressed it with a starter. In Queen, I think we have a star. But that's my opinion. We got you here, Mario, for yours. How do you feel about Queen for the future of the New Orleans Pelicans?
That's a good observation. I think he was kind of like insurance to
Right.
Zion. They're kind of like,
right-handed Zion.
Yeah, they're kind of like similar players in a way. And the Pelicans are just kind of a janky team and roster when you look at it. Like, you have a lot of guys that are like good but not great defenders, a lot of non-shooters. You don't, with Murray hurt, you don't really have like a true point guard. So it's not good right now. And if I'm being real, like I've come on this show before and been very complimentary about Trey Murphy and Herb Jones. Those guys have had good moments. They're both having terrible seasons.
Terrible.
I don't know if you could blame the coaching staff. Maybe they'll get going with Borrego, but those guys have been like non-factors. And Herb, even on defense, like, which is his calling card, like, he'll get deflections, he'll, you know, make winning plays. That hasn't even been there. So
he can't hit the side of a bomb right now.
Exactly, offensively. And Trey was like talking about being an all-star this year and, and stuff like that. And it just, it hasn't been there. So
1, 2, 3, Cabo.
Yeah, it sucks because as a basketball fan, you try to enjoy seasons like this. Like, you're tanking, you're giving, you know, priority to the young guys. You're gonna get a good pick, but you know, with the trade that pick's is not coming for the Pelicans. So I guess just try to maximize fears, try to maximize Queen, and let the chips fall where they may.
Well, it's the word that comes to mind with all of this stuff, guys, is rebuild, right? Revise, rebuild, restructure. There's a whole bunch of reads that's having to go on here. And we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have Mario stick around. Another team that is rebuilding right now is the New Orleans Saints because they sit at 2-9 as well. And we just want to kind of figure out what direction this team is. With the spread that was out, could they potentially still beat this win spread that's out? You know, what are some bright spots of the team? What are some not so bright spots teams? So y'all stick around. It's Inside the Trenches. We're right here, live at Loyola Studio, ESPN Baton Rouge.
Dentro de las trincheras.
Inside the trenches.
Here is where your story continues. Stretch the limits of your imagination. Create the world as you see it. One letter, one word, one pixel at a time. Move to the rhythm of your own story. Make something more. For him and her and them, for the world. Do what you love. Tell stories like never before in state-of-the-art recording, news, and editing studios. Created just for you. Learn skills that will never expire. Document moments, seconds, frames per second. Turn them into masterpieces. Creativity is more than a lifestyle. Make it a career. Tune into the sounds around you. Those notes, you were always meant to sing them. Creative boundaries, you were always meant to break them. Become the creative professional you are destined to be at the Anchor Institution for the Creative Economy. This is a stage, a world stage. New Orleans, culture rich. Loyola, hands-on access. Make the next move. Perform and work immediately. We do things differently. Use your creativity to impact society. Expand your mind. Be with and for others. Continue your story in the College of Music and Media at Loyola University, New Orleans.
Inside the Trenches.
Dentro de las trincheras.
Inside the trenches.
Inside the Trenches.
Dentro de las trincheras.
Welcome back, beautiful people. Inside the Trenches, right here at Loyola Studios, streaming live on ESPN Baton Rouge and Inside the Trenches with Marlon Favorite on YouTube. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Time flies when you're having a good time. We're already up on the fourth segment of the evening, and we've been talking a lot of in-state stuff. We got a lot of in-state business to handle. Excuse me. I want to take this time once again to thank Health Nut System, Dr. Kendra. Appreciate you for everything that you do for the show. We want to once again congratulate them on their 3rd year anniversary. Tons of great products, changed a lot of lives, including ours.
Oh, for sure.
In regards to products, the the still body has been amazing. The 365 speed up has been great as well. CMOS has been delicious. That CMOS, and did you get some of the elderberry?
Yeah. No, I didn't get none of the elderberry yet, but I'm a fan of that CMOS.
Cup about this size, a glass about this size. Nice little drinks, just give you that nutrient. And I was talking about the product, Still Body. Still Body is for people who want to burn fat and build muscle, and at the same time have the nutrients to go in your body to help you lose weight, maintain, and stay in shape.
You'll definitely need that.
Oh, yeah.
Weather changing.
Yeah, definitely. So definitely what y'all should do is go to stillbody.org right now. Again, it's stillbody.org and order your products today. Well, Mario Jerez has decided to stick around with us to talk a little Saints.
Thank you, Super
Another
Mario.
team that we're super excited about here this season, right, is trying to do their thing. We're not really excited about them this season. They did take on the Dirty Birds just recently, lost 24-10 to a team that is 4-7, makes us now a 2-9 team. A lot of trash talk from their fans. They said they came down here and took over our trap. They second line down Bourbon Street, second line in the Superdome, and then they second line on home. So that's how it went down. Mario, we're going to come to you first since you're our guest. Man, just this Saints team, it's a million issues we could point out, but just kind of, I guess, casually talk about some of the things that just hadn't went right this year.
Yeah, we kind of knew what it was with the Saints, I think. It's a little less hopeless than it is with the Pelicans, I think, just because the Saints actually have their first-round pick for one, and then they have some additional picks, with some of the trades that they made, and that's good. They just need football players, and whatever answers that the Saints need or are looking for are very much not on the team right now. Like, Saints fans just need to accept that. They need to weather the rest of the season, and they need to keep hopefully seeing some good things out of Tyler Shuck. I like how he's playing. I don't think the play calling is very conducive to his success. Like, I have a lot of issues with kind of how Kellen Moore is utilizing him right now. Like, I think we're leaving a lot of meat on the bone, but it is what it is at the end of the day. Like, he needs to play well enough to make the Saints want to get like an O lineman in the draft or a receiver or weapons and not want to go quarterback. I think that's kind of the mission for Tyler Shuck and the Saints the rest of the way. And hopefully you win at least a few games here and there. Hopefully they at least get Atlanta in the last game so you can get some revenge, because it's never fun losing to those guys. I respect the rivalry. Go do your little dance in the French Quarter, not really doing anything, just kind of ruining your draft pick, but it is what it is. So, yeah.
They don't even have a first-round draft pick.
Exactly. So, yeah, so they can go cry about that, but it is what it is with the Saints, man. Just kind of have to get through the rest of the year.
Brother, you said that so eloquently. It's a rough season. Put your GM hat on. 2-part question. Do you feel Shuck could actually be the guy? And secondly, who would be that number one wide receiver you're thinking about in the first round of this draft?
Man, on Shuck, just based on what I've seen so far, I think, he's got some skills that translate well to the modern day game. Has size, has mobility, not just fast, but is able to scale the pocket pretty well, and hopefully he has that kind of breakout game. And he's put up numbers. Like, his first game, his first win as a starter against Carolina, that was the most passing yards anybody had since Drew Brees in 2020. So you've kind of seen it in the stats, but hopefully before the end of the year he has that like 400-yard game or 4-touchdown game or whatever, and that I think the potential is there. So to answer your question, so far from what I've seen, yes. And As far as who they should go after, I mean, it's supposed to be a really good class there.
Yeah.
I kind of got to go sharpen up, I guess, on specific draft picks and who they should take. But they shouldn't be position specific, I don't think. Like, if Shuck plays well enough that they don't have to go quarterback, that's good. But just get good players, man.
Right.
Maximize those trades that they did, like with Shaheed and Penning. Like, just build your team. And if they do that, they can be contending again, hopefully soon.
Yeah, I do think that the Saints is a team that, if not next season, the season after, has potential. But Coach Kellen Moore has a job, right? He has a job to bring in the right amount of veterans. He got to make sure that the cuts that they do make this year make sense. Obviously, they have a roster of some guys that have a lot of potential. I thought he drafted exceptionally well for the most part, particularly on defense, bringing in guys like Riley, Stutzman.
Yes.
Sorry, Stutzman. Stutzman has been in the rotation, playing exceptionally well. My question for y'all, and this is the question for the board and for our crew out there that's watching, everybody that's tuning in once and first and foremost, appreciate y'all for hanging with us on Monday night. But I want to look at the rest of the schedule, and we're going to just, I guess, play a little simple game and say win or loss. So is this a dub or is this an L? That's what we're going to do with the rest of this season. Obviously, you have a team that, I mean, all the playoff aspirations have been gone a little over a month and a half ago, and it's just a team now that has a fan base that just want to see a team finish strong. There is a spread here. I want to say it's 5.5 wins. Right now we're at 2 wins. Mario, you're our special guest. The Dolphins.
I think that's a loss, honestly. They have, like, some weird momentum right now, I guess, with Tua. Like, they have games where they randomly play well. I think in Miami they will beat the Saints.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope it's a win, because you're not going to get too many teams worse than that we're facing next. Hopefully we could get some pressure on Tua. You know, they're not really a tough team. Maybe we can finally, use our offensive line, which is makeshift, to dominate the football. But I'm sorry. It might be a loss, but I think this is the one game we could actually win.
According to ESPN matchup predictor, the Miami Dolphins have a 65.7% chance of winning that game.
Oh, wow.
I'll go against the predictor and roll with the Saints winning. Demario Davis, shouts out to him. He's for guys and veterans, been playing exceptionally well. But when Godchild came on the show and he talked about the motivation, you asked him about Miami.
About this game.
So, hey, hopefully that works for them. So far, with our guys here, we'll just say that 2 overrides 1. That will put the Saints at like 2-10. Right? So after they take on the Dolphins, they play the Bucs again.
I think that'll be a competitive one, but they will lose. I think Tampa takes that one. They're starting to get healthier, getting Godwin back and others. I can't pick the Saints to win.
What's the deal on the Baker injury?
Well, he is, from what I understand, that left shoulder. They didn't drop any information yet thus far, but I mean his shoulders supposedly.
Even if he's hurt, Teddy against the Saints, you kidding me? He's going for 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. Like,
you know what I wanted to say, because I realized we hadn't had really good quarterback play in a long time. We used to take for granted when Jameis used to throw 4 touchdowns. Jameis used to throw 4 touchdowns a game, and we just used to take that for granted. Now, we would kill for any one of those quarterbacks to throw 3 touchdowns in a game. So I just wanted to put that out there. I'm sorry for interrupting y'all.
No, you're good. You didn't interrupt. Go ahead.
No, I'm glad you said that, man, because Shuck and we've seen so many QBs since Breeze. I've been calling the games in Spanish since 2019, right?
Yeah,
so
right.
I've seen everything since, and we've seen so many guys that are like you said, just don't have that much talent, I guess.
Right.
Like Andy Dalton and Trevor Siemian, Jameis, like his light may burn bright, and then he has his bad plays, but he at least has that natural ability. I'm seeing that with Tyler Shuck, and I think y'all are too. It's just the play calling in the red zone's been horrible. Like yesterday, if they played it right, he could have had 3 touchdown passes, like 2
Yeah,
or 3,
yeah.
but
Right.
they had all those goal-to-go plays, and they did not throw not even one pass with Tyler Shuck. Like, they threw even a couple with Taysom Hill. So he's the first one I've seen since Breeze that actually has some size, can actually improvise, can actually throw on a rope, like across his body, and that doesn't equal to being a good quarterback necessarily, but he actually has those skills, and he's the first quarterback I've seen since Breeze that has that. He just needs to hone it all in.
So the potential is basically there, but you saying it's a loss in this Bucks game, though.
Yeah, I think so.
What about you?
Yeah, we lose that one.
We losing, bro. So now we 2-11. We 2-11. Then we play the Panthers. That's the following game. That's the December 14th
I think
game.
we win that game. We figured it out. Stop the run. Make Bryce Young beat you. I can't think we figured that one out.
No, I agree. I think some guys just play bad against certain teams, and that is Bryce Young with the Saints. Like, I can't get over how terrible he looked against the Saints with one of their rare wins, and then him just lighting up Falcons the
Atlanta,
next week.
400 some more yards.
Exactly.
Throw them up.
Who has a better
My bad.
defense. So they're at home. The Saints' defense in the Superdome, it's kind of gotten lost in the sauce because they haven't won many games, but they've played well. Most games at home have been at least competitive because the defense has kept them in it. The Saints they've scored over 20 like twice all season or something like that. But I think they ride the defense to a win, and they actually beat Carolina in that game.
Yeah, I think that is win 3. I think that's win 3 for them. That'll put them at 3-11 with 3 more games left to play. Now, for my betting folks out there that bet against the Saints, you might be in trouble, and I'm gonna let my co-host determine that. After that game, a potentially 3-11 Saints team will take on the Jets.
That's a win, baby.
That's a dub, man.
That's a
Okay, that's a dub. That's a team that will be bad on
We've
bad.
come so
Both
far.
teams are 2-9 currently. I don't know how the Jets will be looking at the time, but the Saints will be hungry for another win. Mario, your thoughts on that matchup?
Agreed. I think the Saints, I mean, I don't want to give away the rest of my picks, but I think they win their 2 remaining home games. That's a pride factor with Glenn and with Kellen Moore. Like, both those guys know they're not getting fired, but they haven't had the first year that they've hoped for. So at least get a win against another team that's ailing. The Saints are at home. I think they win that game.
Yeah, I say they win that one too. That'll be win number 4 for them. It's a number of things we got to look at with them. I said that right?
No, I'm just about to give you that win on that Tennessee.
Oh yeah.
Come on, I was fixing my fingers right.
You getting your Jameis on?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we there with that, and I guess I'll spark off Tennessee. They beat Tennessee. I mean, it's a 1-10 team. I don't know if they still be on there 1 team.
Gentlemen, can I say something about that? Think about Tennessee right now, and think about how much they praise, and we heard so much about Ward. Ward this, Ward that. Look where Tennessee is right now. You haven't heard a word from Ward, and look how Shedeur, who should have been the 2nd overall pick, has all the headlines. When the last time you saw anybody speak or interview Mr.
And we're not in
Ward
that market either.
Yeah, small market. They've had a weird season, fired their coach. Like, it's I feel like if you watch them, he's had like moments here or there, but he has just a very bad supporting cast. It's tough to evaluate him. But
do you think Tennessee regrets not getting Shedeur?
Man, that's tough to say. I mean, you could say yes, and it would be fair, but no, I don't think at this stage. Shedeur's just such a weird story. Like everything about him, from like the speaking in mime to not getting any reps. Like it's
number 1
just,
jersey sales.
Yeah,
it's a different. I mean, when you're the heir to NFL royalty, it's inevitable, and even with him being a 5th rounder. Now, before you came on, Mario, we did talk about Shedeur. He just recently experienced his first win on his first start as an NFL player. When you look at what Shedeur is able to accomplish thus far, is he that 1st-round draft pick that most people expected him to be? Or, I mean, it's still a lot of football we would have to see. This is against the Raiders, but, just your thoughts on Shedeur.
I mean, talent-wise, you definitely see the potential of that, and he talked about it. Like, he has not gotten like any reps with the starters.
Right.
Like, this was the first week he was actually able to prepare and go through a routine and then execute all that in a game. So he's gonna get a chance to prove it. That's the exciting thing if you are a Shedeur Sanders supporter. Like, he's finally gonna get that chance to go in the game and prove it. And so far, so good. Like, yeah, a lot of teams probably feel stupid right now given how he's playing, but he's got to keep it up. He's got to prove it.
J.J. McCarthy, Bryce Young, of course, it's Monday Brain, I'm a freeze. All of these guys were drafted in the first round. Yeah. And we're talking about just pure talent.
Right.
Please continue.
You'll pick Tennessee Saints, you think?
I still think Tennessee wins. I could see Ward have like a random good game and beat the Saints.
Hey, you and ESPN predicted. They said 52% chance that Tennessee wins this game.
Well, it's going to be cool.
So, according to Mario, that'll be loss number 12.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with Tennessee. I think that, I'm going to go with the Saints in this game. I just think that defensively, we got enough young talent on the back end, and I just feel like that's one of them games like a Brazil get off on.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that'll 2 override 1, not to go against our guests like that, but that'll be win number 4 for the
quarterbacks.
Or 5. And 2 rookie quarterbacks. All right, fellas, we got one game here, the Falcons. Now, we lost one already. Most Saints fans out there, and listen, as we wrap the show, y'all feel free to tune in, chime in as well. Let me know y'all thoughts when y'all think about the Falcons game. I do think I think the Saints win 6 games. I'm gonna go ahead and say give it away. The Saints beat the Falcons in Atlanta. Big payback. Both teams not going to the playoffs. That's basically our Super Bowl game right there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This was Atlanta's Super Bowl this weekend. That'll be our Super Bowl January 4th in Atlanta. They won't have anything to play for. And just to even speak on that, Kirk Cousins is a halfway decent player. But look at the players around him. You have a Baji. Baji is all world. Even Pitts is a talent. You know, London didn't play, but the offensive line, number 25. There is talent around their second-string quarterback in Kirk Cousins. They're Pro Bowl players that you have to worry about and schemes for. The day New Orleans gets talent around them, I think Shuck will actually play some better ball. We just don't have the per se talent. There's no one that scares you. Even Alvin, took some time off because he eventually got hurt. And everybody gets hurt, but there's just no weapons in New Orleans that anybody is fearful of.
The Falcons have had some good players. They've just had really bad coaching hires. Like kind of like we were talking about with LSU. Yeah, and going back to Arthur Smith too, like both those guys I think are great coordinators, great coaches, but not very good head coaches.
Oh, terrible.
Kind of like Dennis Allen. So to y'all's point, Atlanta, like they have a way more kind of expensive team. They're way more built to win this year. The Saints knew they were going to be bad. Atlanta kind of didn't. So when you get towards the end and the Saints have a more experienced rookie class and they have a team that's kind of more gelling, the Falcons are just kind of looking towards the offseason, have some uncomfortable conversations about Morris and about Terry Fontenot.
And their quarterback position.
And that too. Like, that's a mess.
That's all going to be a conversation.
Yes,
no telling what
it might be better vibes for the Saints. There will be Saints fans there. The Saints could be 0-17, and they'll still be Saints fans. So I think we win that game.
All right. So it looks like the Saints, according to Mario, they win 5 games, but according to us, 6 games. And for our bettors out there, look like if me and CL right, Saints go past 5.5 wins on the spread. But I can say this, and we'll wrap the show. I see the light slightly at the end of the tunnel based off the young talent. Now, what goes on in the organization, that is the $1 million question. Well, we want to thank our Special guest Mario for always joining us once again.
Thank you, Jim.
Y'all be sure to follow Mario. Mario, go ahead and say it for me because I'm all Monday brain out.
All good, brother. At Mario_E_Jerez on Twitter. At mjerez3 on Instagram. Appreciate y'all having me on. Inside the Trenches is a legendary show. I've been coming on for years at this point,
Appreciate
man.
you, brother.
Appreciate y'all always.
Appreciate you, brother.
You the man, brother. Well, we want to thank Mario once again for joining the show. That won't be the last time y'all see him on here.
Sure.
Big ups to CL NOLA. Big ups to Lil Chris as well. For our production team, everybody in there, Taylor Gang and the whole crew. We love y'all.
Taylor.
UP, thank y'all for all that
UP.
y'all do. Our sponsors, get Gordon and get it done, baby.
Get it
The
done.
Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Want to hit them up at 504-800-8888 if you've experienced any injuries due to car accidents or personal injuries at work. Conquer Sports Pros, baby. All our high school football players out there who's looking for training, or if you're a senior or a junior and you're looking to go play college football and have it paid for, visit csportspros.com for more information. And hey, y'all, it's the holiday time. I know I'm tearing it down this Thanksgiving. I hope y'all do too. And if that's going to be the case, y'all going to need the nutrition for your body. You're going to want to stay on top of your weight loss journey or you're maintaining. Hit up Dr. Kendra. That's right. Y'all visit stillbody.org. You have the Still Body tablets. You have the 365. You have the CMOS. You have it all. Visit them right now, stillbody.org. Well, happy Thanksgiving to y'all out there. We'll see y'all next Monday. Y'all be safe. Enjoy family, food, fun, peace, and blessings. Hello, somebody. We'll be back next week. It's ESPN Baton Rouge.